What's up, everyone? It's been about 2 years since I first received the Scoot and started upgrading the performance and the appearance of it. At this point, the only thing that is still stock on the scooter is the chassis, of course, the front suspension and these forks, and the center stem here up to this point. Also, the brakes are the original brakes, the Zoom hydraulic brakes. So originally I bought this, it was a Laotie Ti-30 Landbreaker, the first edition. They now have a second edition out, and I got this on the cheap. I picked this one up for $750. Now I've got probably another $750, $800 or so into it. So all in all, I think I got about 15, maybe 1,600 bucks into the scooter. This is kind of a generic type scooter. There's a lot of these on the market under different names. If it looks similar to this, mainly this dual fork system here, which really helps with stability. It's a 60 volt, 38 amp hour, comes stock, usually has off-road tires on it, and looks basically like the scooter. Then any of these upgrades that I have done on this, you could do on that scooter as well. I do put a lot of miles on this scooter. I ride year round. I'm here in Arizona, so it doesn't get really cold in the winter. It's hot in the summertime, but I can put up with that. And I ride it to work, so I put about between 170 to 200 miles per month on the scooter, which comes out to over 2,000 miles a year. The appearance, all the stems here, the two forks, the center stem, that's all a vinyl wrap by a company called Vivid Vinyl. I got that off Amazon. The entire bottom of the chassis is also that Vivid Vinyl wrap, high gloss black. I also then highlighted in chrome, painted the wheels, the motors with the chrome paint, some chrome pinstriping. I also modified the rear fender. I didn't like the long look. It had kind of like a dirt bike look to it before, so I cut that off, shortened it, and totally modified it. Have some LED strips down inside there, a couple blue ones and a purple one, and also have this wheel hub emblem from an Audi that I had laying around, and actually that does have a function. I have some tail lights, a row of red LED strip mounted up underneath that. Lighting, I replaced the stock headlights with these aftermarket headlights. Got these on Amazon. I have a RF turn signal device here on the front, one on the front, another one down there on the back. Right now I just have the hazards on, so I have turn signals built in. I added some running lights on the front here. Just some trailer lights I got off Amazon, and I changed the front running lights there to an amber color. They originally were red. Looking from the back up under there, you can see that secondary row of red LEDs as a tail light as well, and you can kind of see the blue shining down there as well. Down inside there I have more blue and purple. I also have two separate independent RGB strips setups, one a strip on each side of the scooter up under the deck there, and then a second one that controls some LEDs I have mounted up underneath the deck there. So they're totally separate from each other, controllable differently. I had to run those off a 12 volt circuit, so I have a high voltage DC to 12 volt DC converter that I'm running those controllers off of. So all of those accessory lights I just went over, with the exception of the turn signals, I control with a single switch up here on my handlebars. This switch here is off right now. That controls all my accessory lights. There's on. So all those lights go on and off with that one switch there. I have a kill switch over here I built in on this turn signal switch. I'm no longer using turn signals. So I have to turn that to get power to my controllers. My headlights will now work. So when I turn my headlights on, I get the headlight portion of those angel eye lights, as well as I rigged up another set of bright white LED strip up here on the bottom of the chassis. I also have a separate light mounted up here higher to the top of the handlebars. Another thing I did is I removed one of my charge ports. I now just have a single charge port, and that's because instead of using two separate 2 amp chargers, I use a single 5 amp charger. Okay, starting on the inside of the chassis, the battery. I replaced the battery. The initial battery came in it. It was okay, it worked, but if I pushed it too hard, like if it was at the top end and pushed it too hard, the BMS would shut down the battery and I'd be stranded until I got the scooter home, and would plug in the charger, which would bring it back online, kind of reset the BMS. Luckily, I had another 60 volt, 35 amp battery from another scooter, and I put that in. That was a LiPo battery, and that's why I got in here now. I've never had the problem again since then. I replaced the stock Jingbo controllers with these made by a company called Yunli, and the model number is CC1. And I have paired that with the throttle display that they made specifically to be used with these controllers. So this is kind of a whole set you can buy together. This is the DS20 throttle along again with the CC1 Yunli controllers. You can get those on AliExpress. The motors I'm currently running and I'm going to stay with are the HM 60 volt 3000 watt motors. These are aftermarket. I got these on AliExpress for about $350 for the two motors. Again, they're 3000 watt instead of the 2800 watt that were stock on the scooter. I did intermediately run these Roadrunner motors, which are also 2800 watt. These are pretty good motors and they're a lot cheaper. These, I think I spent about $150 for the two of them, and they're very good. They're much better than stock motors, gain a few miles per hour, a lot smoother. So if you're looking for motors kind of on a budget maybe, these Roadrunner motors are very good. These 3000 watt motors are a little bit better, as they should be, a little bit more power out of them, a little bit more high end. And I've reached 55 miles per hour on the scooter now several times. Easily, anytime I get on it with a full charge, I could easily go 53 and hold it. Okay, my rear shock, I replaced the standard spring shock on the rear with this dual chamber air shock. Once I switch to this, there's no going back. This is a much better ride. I can adjust the air pressure in it for my exact environment, and it's pretty nice. Again, I chrome painted that as well. Brakes, as I mentioned, are the stock brakes, the Zoom hydraulic brakes. I've never had any problems with them. They work great. I went about 3,500 miles on the brake pads before I even changed them, and put new ones in there, and it's good as new. I did paint the caliper bracket down there on the bottom with the chrome paint. On the front end, other than the lighting, as I mentioned, up to here is stock. I now have a suspension handlebar mount. Right here, there's a little spring inside. It acts like a shock absorber. And then I have that mounted to my handlebars, which of course I swapped out these stock handlebars, which are very short. I replaced them with these 720 millimeter mountain bike Himaway handlebars. Very nice, very sturdy, and the wideness of them gives you a lot more control. That combined with the dual forks, this thing is super stable, even at 55 miles per hour. I have no wobble whatsoever. I have a side mirror here on the left, my remote for my turn signals, headlight switch, of course, and my kill switch. I have a phone mount up here, and I just use a secondary phone that I have with GPS, so that's my speedometer, basically. And my switching, this is for my accessory lights, and this is still dual mode, single motor mode. For the tires, I'm running the CST street tires, size 90/65-6.5. I've used these on other scooters. I really like these a lot. I did put the original stock tires that came on stock motors onto these motors as well, and tried them, and they weren't bad. I had to put an air tube in, of course, because these are split rims. But I do prefer the CST, the ride, the smoothness of the CST, and the handling of them better than the stock tires. Alright, going to turn on the headlights now, and you can see these provide a nice wide bright beam. And this is just the two lower ones right now. I don't have this upper one on. And actually, the upper one I have pointed lower down in front here at the moment. So there you go. Alright guys, that's about it for this one. Till next time, take care, peace, ride safe.